Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. So, it's been quite a while since I posted on here, and trust me when I tell you there are plenty of reasons, and it goes far beyond me just being busy at work, even though that is definitely part of the case. The bigger part is something else, and I'm going to confess right here and now. I'm going to call myself out while I'm at it, because the last thing I want to do is be a hypocrite. Kind of like some of those other channels you see out there, you know what I mean? But anyway, going back to subject here, the thing is, for the last while, I haven't really had the desire or the urge to upload anything. And quite frankly, my itch in terms of the Call of Duty commentaries that you guys have seen here over the last 4.5 years or whatnot, the itch to continue to have the desire to upload those kind of videos has pretty much gone all out the window. And for a combination of reasons. Some of them is because of the game that I'm playing, which is Call of Duty. Now, obviously not in this video. And by the way, as far as gameplay, this gameplay here is concerned, I think it does a really good idea of just showing just how far I've come along in Halo. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and I'll go in more detail either in another video or maybe later in this one as I go along. So, because as you guys know, nothing is really pre-written when I do my commentaries. I do no-cut commentary from start to finish. Just leave it all out there, raw. So anyway, let's get back to subject here. So yeah, I've pretty much lost the desire to do your traditional Call of Duty commentaries as of a few weeks now. And it kind of went at the same time as my desire to play Call of Duty just pretty much went out the window. It's funny how that happens at the same time, go figure. This channel has been pretty much inspired by the other Call of Duty commentators out there. There's no doubt about it. And the thing is that the franchise itself, due to the microtransactions and all that other bullshit that we've talked about time and time again on the channel, and that others have talked about as well, has pretty much gone straight to hell, and it's pretty much not going to get any better at this point. As a matter of fact, the only way it can get better is if we abandon it. So, and that's just the beginning. That's just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to take a hell of a lot longer than that, and on top of that, it's going to take a hell of a lot of people to basically make a change in terms of the way Call of Duty is heading, as well as the way Call of Duty itself is represented. Now, there are those in the community that represent the game very well and stay true to their commentaries. Some of them play a character, so to speak. Some of them are real and at the same time play a character. There's just all sorts of different flavors. And then there's other people out there that started out really strong and then ended up turning into something completely different simply because they are falling into the greed trap, and they are turning themselves into something that is basically no different than Activision themselves. And quite frankly, anybody, whether you're a big YouTuber or a small YouTuber like myself, you can fall for this trap. I mean, honestly, if I was given the White Boy 7th Street contract, right, back in Ghost or whatnot, where basically Activision told him to basically make to like represent Ghost and make it sound like the best thing since sliced bread or whatever it was. I think it was White Boy, if memory serves correctly. But anyway, years later, it was revealed that yeah, they paid him $20,000 in order to represent the game. Let me tell you guys something. I'm telling you this right now. If somebody were to hand me $20,000 that easily, I mean, if that were to become a thing with me to where I have the option to all of a sudden become just like that, in the snap of a finger, to become $20,000 richer, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. It would be really hard for me not to do that. I know I shouldn't, but I can't give you a 100% guarantee that I wouldn't, simply because of the fact that, well, the economic struggles of my life are quite large. I mean, they're not the largest in the world. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I work a minimum of 50 hours a week, and this week I put in, I think, close to 70. There's a reason why I do that, and that's because I want to get ahead. I want to do this. I've got goals. I've got this. I've got that. You know, add up to savings, because I recently, like about 6 months ago, I drained them in order for a career change and all that yada yada yada, right? But the thing is, it goes even beyond that, right? It goes to the fact that, well, you got some of these guys that are very successful and they have money, obviously, right? But yet they still like bullshit their subscribers, the community or whatnot. You know, they've got these, you guys know the gist of it, okay? I don't have to really go in depth, and nor am I going to call anybody specific out or anything like that. That's not what this commentary is completely about. But the thing is, if you stay around shit for long enough, and if, the thing is, it's only a matter of time before you turn into that one thing that you despise. And I don't want that. I want to, like, granted that I would still probably say no to the $20,000. Again, like I told you, because I'm being realistic here. Anybody can fall into temptation, especially when it comes to something like that. I mean, with $20,000, honestly, you know what I could do? I could provide stuff for my mother that I wasn't able to do without that money. I could pay off my car. I could do this. I could do that. I mean, there's so many things I could do. I could upgrade this channel tremendously, very easily, just like that. At the snap of a finger, all of a sudden it becomes an option just for bullshitting people. But I don't want to be that person. And I know in the long run it would eat at me. And at the same time, I don't want to turn into that. I mean, why? Why do that? Why give a piece of your soul to something like that? If you're going to give a piece of your soul to anything, it's got to be something that's worth it. And the thing is, because of the fact that I am seeing where this is going, and I've seen other channels out there that were, in my eyes, with all due respect, they were once really good and unique. All of a sudden, they changed into a carbon copy of these greedy content creators that basically bullshit their community or their subs or whatnot, and basically they get away with it time and time again, and they end up being more successful for it. Now, I understand that if you're a content creator that, obviously when you have to, sometimes you stick with COD, you could still be honest. Like Thunder, for instance, he's an honest Call of Duty player. I mean, I can understand why somebody like Thunder, for instance, would still stick with Call of Duty even though he doesn't agree with all the practices and all the bullshit that's going on. Part of it is because, well, obviously I can't speak for the man. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth or anything like that, but it's pretty obvious that he still, even though it's been watered down, he still enjoys doing YouTube. He still enjoys playing COD, at least to a certain degree, and he still enjoys creating content. And he's being honest. He's not being a bullshitter. So, that I can understand. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure he's making a little something from this. Now, I don't know how much it is, and nor do I care, but it doesn't matter. But all of a sudden, when you're making a little something from it, I mean, it almost kind of forces you to do it. Now, I'm not saying that he's being forced, but I do know that there are other content creators out there that wish that they could just play other games other than Call of Duty and still able to make a relatively good living from it. But they're stuck playing Call of Duty because that's what they're known for, and that's what their fan base wants, and they won't get as many views and all that kind of other stuff. That I could very, very much understand, and nor could I ever blame somebody for doing something like that, especially when it comes to the subject at hand. They're not really, they're not bullshitting anybody. They're just playing the game that their fans want them to do. It just so happens that they happen to be stuck playing COD. Which some obviously have openly admitted that they don't want to. I mean, they'd rather spend more time playing different games and just not rely solely or mostly on COD. So the thing is, for me, I'm kind of in a unique position right now because there's no monetization going on, right? There's no monetization here. I'm not making a dime from this, and I can change and do pretty much whatever I want without having the money aspect of things play a role. So that makes it really unique. But at the same time, I do respect my audience, and I do understand that everything originated from COD. But at the same time, I would also ask that my audience respect me as well as a person, and that is the fact that I see that for me as a person as well as a content creator, that I really wouldn't be moving forward. And as a matter of fact, I'd be moving God knows how many steps back, and nothing much would change all that much if I continue to go on this route and basically do nothing but Call of Duty gameplay commentaries. So, for me personally, especially when there's a side of me, a part of me that I've always wanted to portray here on the channel, that you guys haven't fully seen yet in the way that I've envisioned it. So I basically have two choices. I could either put this thing down because I've kind of lost the passion to kind of do it, and because I'm pretty much mentally sick and tired of the bullshit that we're dealing with COD and with everything else that comes in between, and some of the other content creators that just make me fucking cringe. Or I could say, okay, I could pretty much join the resistance. I can be a part of the good guys, and I can just basically call other people out on their bullshit. I can show myself and represent myself in different ways. I can bring out my batch of comedy, which you guys haven't seen, which makes it unique. I personally love the fact that some people out there have the ability to take something serious and kind of make it funny because of their style. And that's something that I do in my real life that you guys haven't seen yet. And I think it would be a pretty cool thing to show on this channel. And at the same time, I would have to learn new editing skills because, quite frankly, there'd be a whole bunch of different things going on the channel. It wouldn't just be, it wouldn't exactly be gameplay commentary like you're seeing now. It would be a really big overhaul, but at the same time, I think you guys would be happy with it. And at the same time, I really enjoy making people laugh. And at the same time, and damn, I said at the same time like 3 times in a row now. Go fucking figure. But, and the thing is, because I'm not monetized, right? Because I don't require monetization, and because money doesn't really play a role, I mean, honestly, I don't care. I mean, would I like to be able to do it? Somebody asked me on Twitter once, wouldn't you like to do this thing for a living sometime, or at least make money out of it or whatnot? The answer to that is yes, absolutely. I mean, yes, but at the same time, it's not the driving force for what makes me do this. So my initial driving force, aka Call of Duty gameplay commentaries, that is pretty much dead. I don't want to represent that game anymore, including showing gameplays, because that would, to a certain extent, in my eyes, I'm not saying that this is the case for every single person, but I'm just saying for me personally, and for my channels and the way I want to represent myself, it would pretty much make me a hypocrite to show the new Call of Duty gameplay while simultaneously talking shit about it. So for me personally, I'd rather just showcase different games and be like, hey, this game is doing it right, or hey, I'm playing Halo, or maybe Doom Eternal when that comes out with that multiplayer, or any other game that I want. And at the same time, the same thing goes for streaming. This would open the avenue for me to stream all sorts of different games, not just Halo or what used to be COD, and just, like, let's say a new game comes out that I'm interested in, like, let's say Cyberpunk 2077. I think it would be a really cool experience to basically play that game with a few of you guys watching, and we just talk. And I'm able to consistently talk better to my audience in the stream because I'd be playing a single-player game as opposed to a multiplayer game, which would require me to kind of concentrate and then talk to the chat in between matches. So as you can see, in terms of the way I envision it, and on top of that, I got to get my face. And what do I mean by my face? Well, I kind of look like this, and it's going to show up on screen right about now. So I got to get that now in order to basically, if I so decide to take the route of I'm not going to give up on this and I'm going to do the other thing that I've always wanted to do with YouTube, or should I say the other things that I've always wanted to do with YouTube and content creation, stuff like that, that kind of pretty much ignites the fire within me and my desire to do this. It's going to take some time and it's going to take some money. And the reason why it would take some time is because obviously I got to learn a few new editing skills. I'm going to need a little bit more time to save more money, because that's why I'm working so much, because I'm just trying to save money. And it's not just because of YouTube. I'm responsible for one other person as well, and I got to look out for their well-being as well, because I take care of them. And there's the fact that, well, life itself and what happens in life is just a tad bit more important than content creation and playing video games, especially if you're not doing content creation or video games for a living. So all these different things pretty much play into the whole pot, so to speak. So basically, I just wanted to make this video to give you guys a little bit of insight exactly of where my mind is at, and without necessarily spoiling everything, because again, like I said, there's a side to me that you guys haven't seen, and when you do, I personally think, I mean, I can't speak for you, I think it's going to add a lot of flavor to the channel. I think it's going to breathe it's going to give the channel some CPR that it desperately needs. And at the same time, it's going to make you guys, I think it's going to make you guys, the viewers, a lot happier, actually. And most of you have told me that the gameplay itself doesn't really matter. It's the content creator behind it. And if that so is true, and if what you said to me was true, then all I can say is you guys have some good things coming if I so decide to do this. And the other option, just so you guys would know, would be for me to either disappear and just either leave the channel up or delete it or whatnot, I don't know, or just have somebody else take over and help give them a boost, because they have the desire to make content, whereas I would not. So these next couple of months, I'm just going to pretty much finish out the work season and try to have as much money in the bank account as possible. And then anywhere between now and that time, I will basically be making my decision of whether or not I want to continue to do this. And if I do, it's not going to be what you guys have been seeing over the last 4.5 years. It's going to be different, and it's going to require a learning curve for me, and I'm going to have to basically make an investment at the same time. And yeah, so there's that as well. And as I mentioned before, life itself is actually more important, especially when you're responsible for somebody else. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for this one. So stay in touch with me on Twitter. I'm a lot more active there now ever since getting my new phone. So I could be at work and I tweet out frequently now more than ever. So anyway, any and all feedback, greatly appreciated down below. And before I go, I also wanted to say thank you for every single person that's been watching my stuff and it's been supportive. And if indeed this is my last video, I just wanted to say it was fun while it lasted, and hopefully you guys will understand as to why if I do decide to stop. Hopefully you guys will understand as to why. And if you guys need further explanation, just follow me on Twitter, or just look at my tweets, and you can scroll back into my previous tweets and you can see where I'm coming from. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for this one. I hope you enjoyed this this video. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I hope the difference in terms of what I'm able to do in Halo now is more visible. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if this was the last round, if this was the last video, thank you so much for all the love and support. And if it's not, all I can say is that you guys have some really, really good things to look forward to. I'll catch you guys later, either on Twitter or in the future on here if I decide to do this. Take care.